All right. The title of today's discussion is simple: manifest according to your faith. All right. And it's going to be inspired by Matthew 9:29. Let me make sure that I hit this Instagram button. My bad. All right, cool. So the two quotes that I'm really going to focus on is number one, you are the place where God shows up in human form. And when you truly rise, the world around you doesn't just change, it awakens. Okay, so we're going to talk about manifestation. We're going to continue down this same series of understanding who you are, recognizing the divinity within you. All right, every time you felt furthest from God, God was closest. Every time you felt closest to God, God was closest, because the pain was never punishment. It was the pressure that cracks the costume and reveals the divine. So the world is your mirror. Your wounds are your costume, and behind it all, God is watching through your eyes. You've been trying to fix your reflection when the real work was to remember the light behind the mirror. You've spent lifetimes polishing your mask, trying to perfect the ego, right? While your soul, radiant and untouched, waited beneath the surface of your becoming. What if your flaws weren't flaws at all? What if they were costumes God put on just to experience the full spectrum of existence? What if you've never been broken and only hidden? So First Corinthians 13:12. All right, let's really dive into this. Now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. What does this mean? All right. Right now we see through a glass darkly. Okay. So right now we live behind the veil. We glimpse eternity through fogged glass. What is this fogged glass that we look at life through? It's memory. It's belief. It's trauma. It's our incorrect interpretation of how things are, right? It's our ego trying to jump to conclusions. Oh, it's not working out. This looks wrong. All right? So this is how we glimpse eternity through this fogged glass. We see ourselves and others dimly. Right? We only see 0.001% of reality. So we see our others and ourselves very dimly, distorted by what? The stories we've been told, the fears we've inherited, the mask that we wear. We try to name God. We try to name love. We try to name purpose. But the words fall like shadows on the cave wall, right? The words always fall short. Our vision is partial, fractured, beautiful, but blurred. What's up? What's up? This world is holy, yes, but it is symbol, not source. It is mirror and not origin. We know something deeper is there. We can feel it pulsing beneath reality, but it slips through our grasp the moment we try to hold it too tightly. But then face to face, right? So this is the definition of we see through that glass darkly, is that our perception of reality is false. We only see a small fraction of reality. And then we add on to that our egoic stories, right? The things we've been told by our parents, the things the politics tell us, all these things dim our vision. Okay, but then face to face, right? No more distortion. When we understand who we are, when we see things, when I look into the window to someone's soul, when I look in someone's eyes, and I no longer just see a different person, but I see a different aspect of me. I see another aspect of the divine, another perspective of God, right? There's no more distortion and no more projection. The mirror shatters. And we don't just see God, we see with God's eyes. No separation, no veil, just essence meeting essence, spirit meeting spirit. In that moment, we don't become something new. We awaken to what we've always been. There will come a time, whether in this life or the next, when the soul no longer sees itself as through a mirror, but stands naked in divine light, remembering I was never the reflection, I was always the radiance, right? This is the divine moment. When you recognize, shit, I was never the reflection, I was never a victim, I was never a byproduct of anything. I was the light. I was the one that was casting the shadow. It was my belief that was casting the shadow of reality. Reality is just a shadow. It's just 0.001%. You are the one who cast it. You are the light behind the consciousness, or the light behind this flesh suit. Let's put it like that, okay? So the world isn't showing you what is true. Reality is not about what reality is. It is showing you what you believe. Every interaction, every trigger, every moment that hurts or uplifts is feedback from the mirror of your consciousness. This is all it is, man. Every single moment is just feedback. It's telling you who you've been, what you believe, what you expect, what's up, what's up. It's just telling you all of these things about you. All right? So the Hermetic axiom, as within, so without, as above, so below, everything is a reflection of self. If I'm going out there and I'm looking for something, right? If I'm waiting for this external world to validate me, it can't. If I'm waiting for something to change out there to show me that I'm doing the right thing, it won't. Because as within, so without. If I'm looking out there for change, what the universe sees is it says, look, you're missing something within you because you're looking for it out here. So we're going to make it match. We're going to make it miss out here as well. That way, you can be in alignment with who you are. As within, so without. Right? Matthew 9:29. According to your faith, be it unto you. Your life is just a byproduct of your faith. Okay? Your life is not shaped by fate. It is shaped by faith. Not the kind recited in ritual, but the deep, silent substance that you carry in the unseen. Faith is not belief in what you hope will happen, Faith is not belief in what you hope will happen. Faith is identity. It is what you know yourself to be, right? I want you to think about these two words very closely, okay? Faith is not belief in what you hope will happen. Faith is not belief in what you think the external world should show you. What's up, y'all? Faith is not belief in what you hope will happen out there. Faith is identity. It is what you know yourself to be. We take your mind, take your eyes, take your consciousness off of the external world and understand the external world is simply a reflection of you, and put your consciousness back on yourself. Who are you being? Who are you? Are you one who walks with source, and because you are source, everything must change? Or are you one who believes that because I visualized, it's going to make reality change? Do you believe, right? Do you have hope in what will happen? Or do you have a knowing of who you are? And because of who you are, everything must happen. Two completely different mindsets. Take the focus off of out there and put it back within you. All right? So faith is identity. It is what you know yourself to be, even when the world offers no proof. And what you know yourself to be, you create again and again in the mirror of time. Okay, Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I constantly repeat this, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as he feeleth, as he think. Your reality rises in direct proportion to your inner knowing. If your faith is in lack, life shrinks to meet it. If your faith is in limitation, the world will fold itself into a cage. But if your faith is in divinity, in destiny, in the I am pulsing behind you, the world cannot help but bow, because life is not responding to your wishes. It is obeying your embodiment, not what you want, but what you believe that you are. Now let's talk about this. Let me slow down for a second. All right, let's really break this down, okay? Life is not responding to your wishes. That can seem off-putting at first when we read it. It is obeying our embodiment. Okay, it's not what we want, but it's what we believe that we are. What we believe that we are. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, how can you tell what your belief is? It's the constant story that you are telling. Right? It's the constant story that you're telling that transcends whatever else is going on. The circumstance might not look ideal, but the God within me is perfect, so the situation must be unfolding perfect. This is a story of embodiment of who you are. Okay? I might feel sad right now. I might feel anxiety right now. I might feel frustration right now, but everything is always working out for me. This is embodiment. Embodiment is not allowing the circumstances to change you. Embodiment is being who you are despite the circumstances, right? Embodiment is not allowing your feelings to pull you this way and that. Because you are feeling sad, all of a sudden you have a sad story. Because you're feeling angry, all of a sudden you have a negative story. And when you are happy, you tell the story of who you want to be. Embodiment is above feelings. It is I can be crying, but I still know everything is working out. It is I can be scared, but I still know everything is working out. It means my body can be going crazy, my nervous system can be going crazy, but I still tell the story of what I want, of what I expect. Embodiment is I am worthy no matter what. What if I don't feel worthy? I still am worthy no matter what. What if I believe I still have work to do before I get worthy? It's impossible. Because source is within you, because you are source, you could never be anything less than worthy. Embodiment is when I feel worthy, I am worthy. When I don't feel worthy, I am worthy. When I was worthy for 5 minutes, feeling worthy for 5 minutes, but all of a sudden now I feel different, I still am just as worthy, right? You are closest to your worthiness when what? When you feel worthy. But you're also closest to your worthiness when you don't. It is all the same. It is all the same. You are divine no matter what. You are worthy no matter what. You are abundant no matter what. The bank account is a lie. It is simply the reflection. You've always been infinitely abundant because source is within you. You could never be anything less. You are every single version of yourself wrapped into one right now. You don't need permission to step into a new identity. You are the temple of the Most High. You are the house of the Father. In my Father's house are many mansions. Every mansion is a different dimension of you. And a different dimension as you is simply a different perspective. You can occupy these whenever. You have the keys to the entire house. You are the temple. You grant yourself permission to step into whatever perspective, whatever dimension you want. All right? The mirror. All right, let's talk about this. The mirror has no agenda. The mirror has no agenda. The reflection has no agenda. What you see out there has no agenda. The circumstance has no agenda. The bill has no agenda. The debt has no agenda. That woman cheating on you has no agenda. That man that keeps ghosting you, they have no agenda, right? It is meaningless. It does not punish. It does not praise. It simply reveals who you are going to be in the moment. What is the story that you're telling when you're going through whatever situation you're going through? Do you allow your emotions to change your story? Or do you continue to tell your story and still feel your emotions however they may be? Who are you? Right? These things are simply revealing. They have no agenda. They don't test you. There is no test. There is no test. It is just a perfect reflection. Okay? If you believe you are small, life will reflect confinement. If you believe you are unworthy, the mirror will echo what? Rejection. An unworthy consciousness receives rejection. A worthy consciousness receives prosperity. What is the difference? What is the difference between an unworthy and a worthy consciousness? It's just a story that you tell. When you feel unworthy, do you tell the story that you are unworthy? Or do you say, I am worthy no matter what? When you feel sad, do you tell the story of, oh, I am unloved? Or do you say, no, I am loved no matter what? What is the story that you are telling? If you believe you're small, life will reflect confinement. If you believe you are unworthy, the mirror will echo rejection. Let's be real with ourselves, right? You could never control your feelings 100%. It's impossible. Unless you're a robot. You could never control your feelings 100%. But guess what? You can control your perspective and your story, and that's all you need to do. Do you believe that you are your emotions, or are you the I am? The formless, infinite I am that is behind those emotions. You are the I am. The only thing real about you is I am. It is your consciousness. It is your I am awareness. It is your Christ consciousness, right? Anything that can change is not real. Your emotions can change for crazy reasons. Your emotions can change for all kinds of reasons. You can get negative news right now. Your emotions change. Does that make you less worthy? Of course not, right? Your feeling of worthiness could change. You could think, oh, I have to conjure this feeling to be worthy, and right now I feel worthy. And then the next day you wake up and you're just a little off. Does that make you less worthy? Of course not. You're still just as worthy. It's about the story that you are telling. The only person that can pull you off of your divinity is you. You're the operant power. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you read. It doesn't matter what you hear. It's about you. I am that I am no matter what. Okay? So if you remember that you are light, the mirror will not flatter you. It will bow to you. When you remember that you are source, the mirror doesn't just flatter you, it bows to you. It reflects you. Okay? So, the mask. You're not the character. You are the light wearing it. You've confused the costume for the self. The pain, the name, the pattern, the past, these are roles. The pain that you felt was just a role that you wore for a moment. The name that you have right now is just a role that you wear for a lifetime. The pattern that you are in right now is just a role. Waking up at a certain time, doing this, these are just roles. The past that you have experienced is a role. They are not real. Yes, they are sacred. Yes, they are divine, but they are temporary. And anything that is temporary is not real. The only thing that is permanent in your life is I am. Is that you are. You exist. Source is within you. This is the only thing that is real about you. Okay? God put on your name like a veil. Walked through your heartbreak like a training ground. Spoke through your silence, moved through your mistakes, and every time you felt furthest from God, God was closest. Every time that you felt closest to God, God was closest. God is closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts, closer than your skin, closer than your name, closer than you. Okay? The pain was never punishment. It was the pressure that cracks the costume and reveals the divine. All right, stop trying to make the mirror love you. It cannot reflect what you will not emit. All right, if you're walking around believing that you are unloved, that you're betrayed, if you really walk around thinking those things, that people let you down, so you're betrayed. People let you down, so you're unloved. You're remembering yourself wrong. You can never be unloved. You can never be betrayed. Because Source loves you infinitely. Infinitely. Do you understand this? Do you see this? You've been remembering yourself wrong. You've been trying to get validation from the mirror. You've been trying to base your worthiness on the mirror when the mirror is meaningless. And the more you try to base your worth on the mirror, the more it just has to reflect the situation that keeps making you chase worth. Do you understand this? Do you see this? The more you chase love out there, guess what? The more you're presented with situations to chase love. The more you chase validation out there, the more you are put in positions to chase validation. Do you see this? Do you see this? Okay? You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. I'm going to read that one more time. Okay, Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. What is the city on the hill? You. Okay, this verse is not a compliment. It is a calling. It is Christ reminding you of your origin. It is Christ representing what? Your spiritual big brother. Your I am awareness. Your understanding of who you are. This is what Jesus represented. Walk like me. Be like me. Take the lessons, okay? This verse is not a compliment. It's a calling. You are the light of the world. This is a reminder of your origin, your assignment, and your uncontainable nature. Key part of that, your uncontainable nature. Okay? You are the light of the world, not a flicker of borrowed flame, but a divine fire seated within you. You are not here to blend in. You're not here to accept the programming. You are not here to dim down. You're not here to silence and suppress your desires. You are not here to survive in silence. You were placed like a city on a hill, elevated, visible, and radiant by design, not to boast, right? But to illuminate, not to dominate, but to God. When you awaken to the light within you, you stop waiting for permission to shine because you realize God already appointed you as a beacon in a world that forgets. We live in a world that forgets. Your soul descends into matter and forgets, right? You're wrapped in flesh. You have bone and blood, and you are descended into this linear timeline. And you're introduced to things like longing and loss, right? This is a world that forgets. This is a world that is very dense, very dense. The thoughts here are very dense. That's why we have to cut through it with our perspective, okay? But God has already appointed you as a beacon. The wrong question is, who do I have to become to get this? What do I have to embody? What frequency do I have to be on? Let me not say embody. What frequency do I have to be on? What do I have to be to get this thing? It's not about that. It's the wrong question. What do you have to remember that you already are? Every version of you already exists within you. Every version of you already exists within you. Well, here is the mystery. Your light doesn't come from effort. It comes from being, okay? Your light does not come from effort. It comes from embodiment. You don't light the world by preaching, performing, or pretending to be perfect, okay? You light it by remembering what you are. And once that light is seen, once your soul lives unmasked, once your truth is no longer edited to fit comfort zones, you become the living proof that divinity still walks in flesh. Just as a city on a hill cannot be hidden, neither can a soul who has remembered their origin. You are not the light because you shine. You are not the light because you shine. You shine because you are the light. It is just who you are. You don't create because that's what you want to do. You create because that's just who you are. You're not prosperity because that's what you want. You're prosperity because that's who you are. You're not loved because that's what you want, because that's something that you have to be. You receive love, you attract love because that is who you are. It's a remembrance. You can never be anything less, okay? The divine is not something high above. It is in heaven, it is in earth, it is inside of us. And then, of course, in this statement, heaven represents the sky, right? But the Most High is everywhere and closest to you. God is closer to you than to anyone. God is within you. Okay? When you remember the light you are, you stop asking for validation because you radiate revelation. You stop managing your image because you're embodying your essence. You stop reacting to the reflection because you realize you're not the reflection. You're the light that made it. You stop reacting to the reflection because you realize you are not the reflection. In this moment, you are not the reflection. You are the light that made it. Okay? All right, so the divine hidden in your humanity. The divine hidden in your humanity. Your flaws are not the opposite of God. Okay? They're the filters through which divinity shines. Even your sadness, your rage, your fear, right? The same feelings that we're told, whoa, those are bad. Those are negative, right? Even your sadness, your rage, your fear are languages of the infinite speaking in human dialect. You're all divinity. Every aspect of you is perfect. Every piece of you is perfect. Every perspective that you could embody is perfect. It is just one perspective of the wholeness of you. Okay? Every version of you is wrapped up into you right now. You're just experiencing life through one perspective, one identity. I am that I am. The that is the perspective that you are choosing right now. Okay? And you can switch all of them. You can switch perspective moment by moment. Okay? This is your divinity. This is your being. Okay? 2 Corinthians 12:9, my power is made perfect in weakness. Okay, what does that mean? Well, there's another scripture that says, let the weak say I am strong. What does this mean? It doesn't say let the weak reprogram their subconscious mind. and take a whole bunch of time. And then eventually they will feel strong and then it will all click. It says, let the weak be strong. Let's say this another way. Let the ones who see lack say, I am prosperous. Let the one who sees betrayal say, I am love. Let the one who feels hurt say, I am whole. Let the one who does not feel worthy say, I am worthy. Let the one who does not feel love say, I am infinite love. Okay? I am infinite love. All right? So there is nothing that is not God. Another quote by Meister Eckhart. God isn't trying to escape your humanity. He chose to wear it. Every moment that you felt too human was a moment divinity was deepening inside you. You're not a mistake trying to be holy. Peep this. This is a ball right here. You are not a mistake trying to be holy. You are holiness pretending to be broken. You are holy. You are divine. You are whole. An aspect of holiness is whole. Because you are whole, you are holy. All right? You are not a mistake trying to be holy. You are not a broken person trying to heal. You are not a hurt person trying to be whole. You are holiness pretending to be broken. Stop fucking pretending. When you wake up to this knowing and you stop pretending that you're something that you're not, right? Allow the ego to do whatever it does. It will always tell you these stories of limitation. It will always attach to whatever identity you're putting on because you are infinite wholeness, right? Because you are every perspective. You are infinite personalities wrapped in one, just looking out of one. Because you can only see one. What's another way to put this? I keep trying to think of more clear ways to say this. You are anything that you could ever imagine right now. Anything you could ever imagine yourself to be right now. You are that. Okay? If you can think of yourself being a millionaire, there's a version of you that is. So every single perspective that you could imagine exists. The only thing that you can't imagine is not existing. That's the only thing that is not possible. So if you add up all of these perspectives of yourself, you are whole. You are whole. All right? Peep this. Because of your knowing that you are whole, if you only occupy one perspective, there will always be a feeling of lack. Because you're only occupying one perspective at this moment. And your soul remembers the wholeness of who you are. This is why you divinely desire things, because there's so many perspectives of you living at once. Embodying this vessel at once. You just happen to wear one perspective. So of course you're going to feel some type of lack. But just the fact that you can feel that means that you're absolutely whole. Because you're absolutely whole. Another way of saying this. The one perspective that you occupy is the 0.001% of reality that you can see, right? We understand in physics that if you look at an atom, we only see 0.001% of that atom, right? The rest of it is what? Energy and empty space. What is the 0.001% of reality? It's what you can see right now, based on the one perspective that you're in. But when you slip into another perspective, because a perspective is a house, is a mansion in the Father's house. You are the Father's house. You are the temple. Another way to say that is a different perspective is another dimension in the Father's house, which is you. Okay? When you switch, then you switch to a different 0.0001% of reality. It all says, we're all saying the same shit. In your house are many mansions. In the Father's house are many mansions. What's the Father's house? It's you. You are the temple. Right? Every single mansion, every single perspective that you could ever occupy exists in you right now. But you can only see at 0.001% of reality at a time. Switch your perspective. You go to a different 0.001%. You go to a different dimension. You go to a different perspective. It's all saying the same thing. Recognize that it's not about striving or trying or reaching. You already are that you are. You already are everything that you want to be, no matter what. You are source no matter what. You are worthy no matter what. Okay? So God isn't trying to escape your humanity. He chose to wear it. Every moment you felt too human was a moment divinity was deepening inside of you. You are not a mistake trying to be holy. I just had to read this one more time. You are not a mistake trying to be holy. You are not a fraction of yourself trying to be whole. You are wholeness pretending to be broken. You are wholeness pretending to be a fragment. The moment that you say, you know what, I'm going to stop pretending. I'm going to know that I am source. I'm going to know that I am wholeness, just occupying a different perspective. I don't need anybody's permission to be different. I don't need my parents' permission. I don't need the church permission. I don't need the therapist's permission. I don't need the zodiac permission. I don't need anything's permission. I simply embody a new state because I am that I am. I am source. Okay? You are holiness pretending to be broken. Isn't that crazy? It is not about who do I need to be. It's what do I need to remember. Who do I need to be is the wrong question. What do I have to be? How do I have to act to do this? Wrong question. The right question, what do I have to remember? I already am whole. I don't have to pretend to be anyone else. I have to stop pretending that I'm anything less than whole. Okay? I don't have to strive to be something else. I simply need to remember that I am that I am. I am whatever I decide that I am going to be. All right? So returning to the light you've never lost. You don't become the light. You remember you were never anything else. You don't become divine. You don't become source. You remember that you were never anything else. What if I don't feel like it? It doesn't matter, you still are. What if I don't want to be? It doesn't matter, you still are. It doesn't matter, you still are. Okay? You still are. All right, so Isaiah 61, arise, shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is not a suggestion. It is a divine commandment to awaken. Okay? Isaiah 61, let's say that one more time. Arise, arise, shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is not a suggestion, right? To wake up, maybe. It is a divine commandment to awaken. Arise, shine is the soul's call to stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Well, when I do this, after I reprogram my subconscious mind, then maybe I will feel worthy. You don't have to do that. There is no subconscious mind stopping you from getting what you want. It is your story that there is a subconscious mind stopping you. That is what's creating it. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. It is your story that's making up reality. Nothing's stopping you, right? Nobody's manifesting for you, okay? Nobody's praying for you. Even if you go tell somebody to pray for you and they do, and then all of a sudden you have a little bit more faith because you think that they're holier than you, right? This is why Jesus said, if you believe that heaven is in the sky, you'll think the birds are closer. If you think that source is outside of you, you'll think somebody else is closer, right? If you forget that you're the temple, right? You just go to church and you hear them say that, no, this is the temple. You have to be reverent. You have to speak a certain way when you walk in here. You need to speak a certain way all the time because you are the temple, right? This place where you're standing right now is holy ground because your divine ass is there. Because you are source, because you are housing the divine right there. Okay? Your light is not coming, it already has. It's not something to earn, prove, or chase. Okay? If you think that, matter of fact, I didn't even finish my statement, my bad. I got wrapped up in this, right? Even when we tell people to pray for us, right? Because you think that because you believe God is out there, if somebody prays more, meditates more, or they're a priest, all of a sudden that means they're holier, right? You think your grandma can pray for you stronger than you can. But when you tell them to pray for you, what happens is because you think that they are closer to source than you, all of a sudden you have faith, a little bit more faith. And then what happens? When you have a little bit more faith, things happen. And now you outsource your power. You give your power to somebody else. You're making them a false idol is what you're doing, right? It isn't them that did anything. It was still your faith. You're just outsourcing your power to them. I am the Lord. There is no other, right? You should have no false idols. Anytime you believe that your power is out there, right? Or if you're looking out in the world, right, you have these external circumstances that don't look right, and you forget that you're the source of them, you are the creator of them, You forget you're the creator. And so then you go to those things and you start trying to suppress them or change them, or you think that they are larger than you. You're making them your false idols. You're forgetting that you are the I am. You are a source. You're the source. Those things are just the side effects. They wouldn't exist without you. You give them the script on what to be. Huh? All right. So the darkness that you've been moving through was not the absence of God. God, okay, my bad. The darkness you've been moving through wasn't the absence of God. It was the womb of transformation. And now the glory of the Lord, the divine radiance of your true self, is rising, not around you, but through you. You are no longer just a vessel of light. You are its revelation. You've always been divine. You've always been source. You could be nothing less. You've just been waiting to wake up to the fact that you are that. You've been waiting for some permission. You have to give yourself permission. Okay? So the darkness you've been moving through wasn't the absence of God. It was the womb of transformation. Like I always say, man, if you want to learn about everything, learn about anything. Everything is a reflection of everything. So let's talk about this. The darkness you've been moving through was not the absence of God. It wasn't a test. It was just a reflection. Okay? It was the womb of transformation. Let's talk about the womb. Let's talk about the divine nature of the womb and what it means metaphorically. If you understand the phoenix, right? We have these stories of death and rebirth that happen all through scripture, all through spiritual texts. But one of my favorite stories is the story of the phoenix. The phoenix is a mythical bird, right? It is representative of the highest evolution of a Scorpio. It also represents, it could represent a whole bunch of things. It could represent kind of the Kundalini. It could represent the divine masculine. In different scriptures, in different places, it means different things. But what is beautiful about this bird is that this bird wasn't born a phoenix. What it does is it has to build a nest, set that nest on fire, go in that nest, kill itself, and then be reborn as this beautiful, majestic bird. One of my favorite spiritual quotes is the awakened, the conscious, right? The divine does not fear death because they die 1,000 times, right? Anytime, let's say that you meet someone today, right? And y'all fall in love. There's a version of you that's birthed that sees life with this person forever, okay? You see the rest of your life. Beyond this life, you see eternity. I will love you to eternity. I don't care what happens next. Your soul can't even conceptualize stopping love at the end of this life. That's because your divinity, your soul transcends this lifetime. So whatever happens next, I will love you. You can't fathom the thought of forgetting about this person in another life. It's foreign to you. It doesn't even sound right. I will love you in this life and whatever happens next. Okay? Now I want you to think about it like this. When y'all break up, you're not just mourning that person. You're mourning the version of you. You're mourning a version of you that saw eternity. Now think about that with everything. You lose a job, you're mourning the version of you that thought you would be at that job later. You're mourning the version of yourself that saw yourself enjoying more time with your mother before she passed, your grandmother, right? So every single thing that you go through is a death and rebirth process. Now, let's also talk about the womb. What does the womb represent? We understand that, your soul descends, it jumps into the pineal gland of this fetus. It animates that body. The Spirit of the Lord runs over the water in your mother's womb. This represents your first baptism, and then boom, your mother's water breaks, and here you come. All right? Now, what does the womb represent spiritually? You go into these times of darkness where external reality shows you something, you create something, it reflects something at you, or it puts you in this scenario where you become like the seed planted in darkness, or the fetus in the womb surrounded by darkness. Okay? And just like the plant, when it's in that soil, it doesn't know left, right, up, down. And there are times where you don't know what to do. You cannot see the light. You're mourning a version of yourself. You think you're mourning that other person or that thing, but you're mourning a version of yourself. Right? And so you're in that darkness. And the only thing that can get you out that darkness is the illumination of what? Your own light. No one can come save you. No one can give you the advice that snaps you out of sadness. No one can come reach down and give you their hand and pull you up. It is your I am awareness that illuminates the dark, that allows you to step out. This is the representation of Peter walking on water, looking out and seeing the storm. The storm representing these external circumstances. And what does he do? He starts falling in the water. It isn't until Jesus reaches out to him, he puts his eye back on Jesus, representing your I am awareness, representing the divine within you, your Christ consciousness, that source within you, that all of a sudden he is pulled back up. That's what it means metaphorically. All right. So you're in this womb where you're rebirthing. You're not just mourning a version of yourself, but now you're rebirthing a new version of yourself. So in that womb, the same way that the waters of the womb while you're in your mother flow over you, and the word of the divine flow over you. All right. What happens when you're in the darkness of life? That feminine energy flows through you. Sometimes it's represented by tears. The water flows over you, just like the water in the womb. Right? So you go through this soul expanding situation. This all pain. This is a soul expanding situation. It's a situation to get more illumination on what you want. It gives you clarity on what you want. You go into the darkness to get clarity. Sounds contradictory. Don't get lost in the darkness. Understand that the darkness is a means to illuminate your light brighter towards what you want. So you step into that soul expanding experience and boom, a version of you is burned. And you mourn it. You put it on the altar, you sacrifice it, you set it on fire. Okay? And then you allow that feminine energy to wash over you. That energy of that womb to wash over you and wash away that old version of you. And then you are rebirthed into the world as what? A new version of yourself. This is the representation, right? This is the metaphysical, metaphorical definition of the womb. If you want to know about everything, learn about anything. It's all a representation of everything. Okay? So, where was I? The darkness you've been moving through wasn't the absence of God. It was simply the womb of transformation. It was sacred. Every moment of your life is sacred. But if you want to look at certain times as more sacred, this would be a fair one to look at. That when you are in that womb of transformation, you are in sacred times. Okay? So, to arise is not simply to stand. All right, arise, shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. To arise is not simply to stand. It is to remember who you are. It is to reject the illusion of smallness and say yes to the divine power seated in your being. Even if you believe that you're small and powerless, guess what? That couldn't be any further from the truth. Even if you feel like you're unworthy, guess what? It couldn't be any further from the truth. You are divine, you are worthy, you are the light, you are source no matter what. Add that to the end of your affirmation. Whatever your affirmation is, no matter what. I am prosperity no matter what. What if I don't feel like prosperity? Too bad, you are, no matter what. God could never be anything less. You are source. You can never be anything less. To shine is to stop dimming your spirit to match your surroundings. Voila. To shine is to stop dimming your spirit to match your surroundings, to match your feelings. Allowing your feelings to pull your mind in this direction. Right? Allow your feelings to be what they are. But you look at them from a greater perspective, from the perspective of source, from the perspective of the observer. Right? You have the ego that gets caught in the illusion of separation. The ego gets caught in the character. Whenever you embody, the ego says yes. And it takes off as that character. But the soul behind it just observes, which is you. The soul behind it simply observes. But the divine, which is who you are as well, the Holy Trinity of you, the ego, the divine, right? And the higher self, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? This is all you. You are the Son, you are the Father, you are the Holy Spirit. All of it. You are the Trinity of you. The ego, the soul, and the higher self. And the higher self chooses because it is reality. It is the I am that declares what everything means. So you're always embodying these three personas. The ego, the Son, all right? the soul who just watches, and the divine, the I am awareness above it all that simply says what it is. Okay? So stop dimming your spirit to match your surroundings. It doesn't matter how you feel, it's what you say the situation is. You are the answer. You are the answer to the world's hunger. You are the city lit by heaven's flame. This scripture is not about becoming something new. It's about stepping into what has always been true. You are the place where God shows up in human form. And when you truly rise, the world around you doesn't just change, it awakens. Okay? Quote from Gospel of Thomas. I am. All right? I am. When you hear I am, remember Jesus represents your I am awareness. Remember that. Jesus represents your I am awareness. So when he says I am, not talking about him as a separate entity. He's talking about him as you. I am. I am the light, which is over all things. I am the all. The all came forth from me, and the all attained to me. The journey isn't about becoming more divine. It's removing every veil that made you believe you weren't. It's not about feeling more divine. It's about remembering that you are. And when that veil finally drops, you won't see a better version of yourself. There is no better version of yourself. You will see the face of God looking back through your own eyes. The journey isn't about becoming more divine. It's removing every veil that made you believe you weren't. It's about forgetting the programming. Okay? It is about forgetting the programming. So closing declaration, the closing affirmations for you. I am not the reflection. I am the radiance. I am not the mask. I am the mystery wearing it. I am not becoming light. I am the light, remembering itself. Stop believing the illusion. Okay? Remember who you are. Stop pretending to be anything less than divine. Stop pretending to be anything less than whole and holy. Stop pretending to be anything less than absolute infinite abundance and prosperity. Stop pretending. That's what you're doing. When you buy into your feelings, you're pretending to be something less. Allow your feelings to do what they do. Allow this third dimensional perspective to experience what it experiences. And you remain the conscious observer of it all. Your consciousness, your presence, instead of placing your consciousness on everything outside of you, because you are conscious, you have to be conscious of something. So instead of being conscious of the external world all the time, be conscious of you. It's not about hoping that something out there will change. It's about knowing that you are who you say you are. And from that perspective, everything changes. Everything outside of you has to shift because you have shifted. I no longer see things. I no longer see things or look at things as I see them. I look at them how I want them to be. Right? I no longer walk through life as a victim. I walk through life as source, as the creator, as divine, as all that there is. Okay? You are the divine author. You are the divine reader of your story. You are the divine editor, changing whatever you want. You are the main character. You give scripts to all of the side characters running around you. You are absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. And when you do not feel like perfection, guess what? Too bad, you still are. You are absolute worthiness. And what if you don't feel worthy? Too bad, you already are. What if you don't feel like you're divine? You don't feel like you're source. You don't feel like you're the creator of your reality. Too bad. Hate to tell you this. You are anyway. You are prosperity no matter what. The bank account is the liar. It's because you believe in that so much. You think that that's solid because you're making it your false idol. I am the way. Your I am awareness is the way. It is the truth. It is the light. Everything that changes is not real. Everything that changes is not real. You are the unchanging consciousness behind it all, giving meaning to everything. Okay. So the next time that you feel worthy, remember that you are. The next time that you do not feel worthy, remember that you are. The next time you feel like you are infinite love, remember that you are. The next time you don't feel like you're infinite love, you feel like something's off, You feel like you still need to work. You still got some reprogramming to do. Guess what? You still are. You still are worthy. Okay? When you don't feel like God's close, that's when God's the closest. When you feel like God's the closest, that's when God's the closest as well. When you feel like your prayers are being answered, they are. When you feel like they're not, they are. It's about what you are declaring things to be. I am that I am no matter what. No matter what. You are absolutely perfect no matter what, all right? So in conclusion, every version of you that could ever exist is within you right now. You are the infinite being. Do you understand what this means when we say you are an infinite being? You are a multi-dimensional being. A dimension is a perspective. In my Father's house are many mansions. Your Father's house is the temple. You are the temple. And inside the Father's house, the temple, which is you, are many mansions. All of those mansions are different perspectives. You have every single perspective wrapped into you right now. You're simply looking out through one perspective. You are simply looking out through one perspective, but all of these perspectives make you whole, completely whole. You couldn't be anything less. And so this creates the illusion of lack because you can only experience reality 0.001% of the time. One perspective of you is 0.0001% of reality. The same way you can only see 0.001% of matter per physics. You can only experience life through 0.001% of reality. And so every time that you are switching perspectives, you're switching to a different reality, a different dimension. All right? You can never be anything less than whole. It's not about what you need to become, it's what you need to remember. You need to remember that you already are divine. You already are source. You already are all that there is. You couldn't be anything less. Couldn't be anything less. You already are all that there is, and you could not be anything less. All right? So that's all I had today, man. If y'all got any questions, let's talk about them. Hopefully y'all are having a beautiful Saturday morning, wherever you are. All right? And hopefully, wherever you are, you understand that you are, right now, you are sitting, standing, laying on holy ground because you are there, because source is within you. Hopefully, you're looking at yourself with reverence. You don't need to relive anything. You need to realize that the moment that you are standing in right now, I want you to think about life like this. We believe that our thoughts are projected into the future and changing the future. Your thoughts are not just projected in the future. Your thoughts are projected in the future and the past. There is no past, there is no future, there are simply thoughts. When you feel divine and whole right now, then you look back into the past and you think negatively. Or you don't think negatively, you think perfection. When all of a sudden you feel less than divine, you look back in the past and you see things differently. It's about who you are right now. It's just the only thing that matters. Okay? When people say you can't change the past, you can't physically change it. But who you are being right now impacts the past. Those that took the vaccine, are you going to be fine? Of course you are. It's about the story that you are telling. Of course you're fine. It's easy to remember these things when nothing is wrong. How do you calm yourself down during a crisis? This is the thing about your emotions. Your emotions are simply feedback on the story. All right? So life is always going to present you storms. You'll never be able to avoid the pendulum swing, right? But the beautiful thing about that pendulum swing is that when you're in those situations that feel like a storm, this is when it really shows you who you are. If you really want a quantum leap, if you really want to change your reality quickly, then be mindful not of just who you are in the positive situations, but be mindful in those negative situations. So let me give you an example, right? So let's say that you are trying to get a specific person, okay? And you've been affirming for it, and you're standing in that knowing that you are source and that everything is flowing to you and everybody loves you, all these things. And then the person that you want shows up in your face and they tell you not to text them again. Okay? Who are you going to be when you hear that story? Okay? Now, let me give you some. Let me slow down, man. I'm trying to answer this too fast. You never can change reality. One of the things that should give you some comfort is that in whatever moment that you're in, the reality that you are in is solid. It's fixed. The people in that reality are fixed. Okay? The circumstances in that reality are fixed. So you're not going to change that person or that thing. You don't want to do that anyway. You want a different version of them. You want a different version of the situation. So allow things to be what they are. If the circumstance looks bad, that's cool. It can look bad, but what story are you telling, right? Because the source within me is perfect, everything must be unfolding perfectly. Right? I must be moving into a different reality that is still in alignment with me. It's still just unfolding. If it's not looking exactly the way you want it to look, just know it's still unfolding. You're still in the middle. This is the part that you have to detach from. You have to live in your end. Stay in your end. Stay in your knowing that everything is working out perfectly. Stay in your knowing. If it is not what you want it to be, then it is still unfolding. And sometimes the mirror looks crazy. I was in the gym earlier and I was looking in the mirror at the 45-pound weight. And because the weight was distorted in the mirror, it looked like it said 24, but it was 45. I was like, oh shit, this is the nature of the mirror. Sometimes, because reality is a mirror, it's going to look off as it's moving to get you to what you want. So your consciousness is key, right? How much consciousness, how much presence do you walk through life with? Do you walk through life in the knowing that everything is working out for you and unfolding for you? Or do you become unconscious and because you see things, all of a sudden your story changes. You believe you're back to square one. You're never back at square one. Right? Anytime you begin to sink with the circumstance, just like Peter did in the water when he saw the external circumstances of the storm, you simply put your awareness back on the divinity within you, on your I am awareness. And then you rise to that situation. So how I would actually respond to it is understand that right now I'm still in the unfolding. So I respond to it as if it is what it is. I don't run from it or try to change it right there, but in my mind, I revise it. In my mind, I still see it perfectly. Oh, it's still unfolding. It's still unfolding perfectly. It is just, this is the perfect unfolding to where I'm getting. Right now, it's just not done unfolding. That is it. But I don't live here anymore. I don't live in this reality anymore. This reality is still playing out. Okay? Think about your life like this. Every moment is a movie script. Every moment is a movie script. And that movie script that you're in this moment is done. But in the next moment, you're in a different movie script. Everybody is different. Every situation is different. In the next moment, you're in another movie script. How many movie scripts do you change per second? Infinite. There are infinite moments in a second. There are infinite moments in a day. So throughout the day, you're changing based on who you're being all the time. So it's not about resisting or pushing against or pushing away whatever you see. Whatever you see is just one reality out of infinite. Think about that. It is one reality out of infinite. It would make no sense for me to attach myself to this. It would make no sense for me to think that this is it. It's one perspective. The same way that I am one perspective out of infinite of me. All right? It's about giving yourself grace as well. Okay? Yes, you can feel negatively. It's fine. It's part of who you, it's you having a human experience. All right? You can feel negative sometimes. But what is the story that you're telling? Even when your nervous system is going crazy, what is the story that you're telling? Yes, I might feel sad in this moment, but I understand that everything is still unfolding. I'm still not at the end. It's still unfolding perfectly for me. All right? Remind yourself of these things. God has weapons you don't know of, ways you do not understand. Ways you do not understand. All right? My ways are not your ways. You and the Father are one, but your Father does things that you can't comprehend. This is the story of Job that we talked about, right? Where if you really read the story of Job, and I did a long discussion on that, Job represents us. And it's not that he was having conversations with people outside of him. All of the things that he experienced in that story were different aspects of his consciousness. The three friends represented three aspects of his consciousness. The wife represented his marriage to his third dimensional reality, cursing it. When we look out and say, man, situations suck. I give up. This doesn't work. Okay? It wasn't until he started going within that source revealed himself to it and said, not with comfort, right? Didn't give him comfort, just reinforced. Were you here when I laid the ground on the earth? Were you here? Could you put the constellations in the sky? Who are you to tell me that things are not working out perfectly? And then when you read scripture from a different perspective, when you understand that all you're seeing is 0.0001% of reality, all I'm seeing is one fragment, one of infinite possibilities right now that I'm standing in. It's just an opportunity for me to show who I truly am. Every moment is an opportunity for me to show who I truly am. And as I show who I truly am, the things that are not of me fade away. Right? So this was just a reminder to Job, just like we have to remind ourselves. Were you there when Source put the constellations in the sky? Right? Could you create the earth, the heavens and the earth? No, your job isn't to create that shit. Your job is not to create that person loving you. It's not to create that divine relationship. Your job is not to create that abundance. Your job is to receive it. It's to give it to yourself and move on. Right? Were you here when they put the stars in the sky? Facts, right? Your job is not to understand. You could never understand. You could absolutely never understand the vastness of the divine. One of my first mystical experiences that I've talked about was me being blasted through the cosmos, right? I was in this is what really kind of helped me, right? I was in this experience where I was in this void, pure darkness, so vast, so infinite that it felt uncomfortable. And there was a single point of consciousness representing the I am that was everything. And it then multiplied into two. The masculine, the feminine, positive, negative, whatever you want to call it. And then it turned into three. It was like, you know what? I don't just want to be these two. I want to choose. So the third point was the observer. And it made this kind of all-seeing eye, which represents every single person in your experience, right? Every person that you know, your mother, your girlfriend, your ex, right? The cashier, every circumstance that you are in represents the all-seeing eye. It's everything looking at you, saying, who are you being? What are you choosing? What are you expecting? And then as soon as you make a decision, it says yes. And they all start to play their role. Okay? So there were these 3 points of consciousness, and then they just started to expand and multiply and fucking multiply, right? And you see stars being birthed and being destroyed. You saw civilizations rise and fall. It was the precision that everything was placed in the universe was so detailed that it made me sick. I could not bear it. I just wanted to leave, right? But it was, I was crying, I was screaming at the same time. It was a feeling of absolute vastness and detail beyond my comprehension. Seeing the earth being formed, seeing the different universes and galaxies, seeing civilizations come and help, seeing beings come and help the earth, seeing certain things that I didn't know what the hell was going on happen, until it culminated with me actually experiencing myself being born, looking at my parents while they were there, and then growing up into a child or into an adult, I guess the age I am right now, and then giving birth to myself and falling in love with myself. That's not important for this story. The importance of this story is that the absolute amount of clarity and precision that everything was made in If Source can create all of this, surely he can give you a couple $1,000s. Surely he can give you the one version of somebody that wants you, that loves you perfectly. Surely you can get that one thing that you want. This is infinite intelligence that you're working with, right? But oftentimes we try to give Source human characteristics. We try to look at Source the same way that we look at our parents, right? And how many people have perfect parents? Nobody does. There's no, from a human perspective, there's no such thing as perfection. How many people could you truly rely on 100%? A lot of people can't on their parents, can't on their siblings, can't on their friends, can't on strangers, can't on the church, can't on politicians, right? So we have all this programming of mistrust. We can't trust people. We can't trust our friends. We can't trust shit. Then we come into this space and we say, all right, God, prove it to me beyond what a normal person would, right? We want you to prove it to me by I'm going to do these affirmations and I'm looking out and I better see reality change. I better see it change. Wait, you make it conditional. This is even what Satan was talking about. Satan not being no being, just representing your thoughts, representing those negative false thoughts. Satan as God representing your I am awareness. It was just contradictory thoughts in Job's head. He said, does Job worship God for nothing? Does Job fear God for nothing? Does he just praise God for nothing? Or is it for something? Right? Do you do this manifestation to get something? Or do you understand that you are Source and you are the creation, you are the source? What are you doing this for? This was how Job's story started, right? It said Job was an upright and righteous man. He feared God and shunned evil. He believed in two powers. He thought that because I believe in God and I do these techniques, then I will get my prosperity. So he believed there was a path of unfulfillment. There was a path where the divine will not show up for him. He based all of his material possessions on what? On his his human righteousness. This is the trap that we fall into. If I'm doing a good thing, then I will get good things. Is that true? Is everybody that does good shit get good shit? Because I praise God, I will get good things. Is that true? You deserve everything by right of consciousness already. You understand that you are Source because that is who you are. But what is the difference between you praying to a God out there versus knowing that Source is within you, and now you're putting all of your faith, instead of a God out there, you're putting it all on the affirmations and the visualization. You're putting it all on your perspective. You're putting all on how you react in these moments. I have to do right. What are you doing it for? You're just doing these things to get things. Understand that you already have these things. You already are Source. You already have these things. This is the story. This is what Job was talking about. This is the story of Job. And so the moment that all those things got stripped away, what did he do? He went into his mind and he had 3 distinct personalities talking shit to him. Right? 3 distinct personalities talking shit to him. Even one that was like, bro, surely you've done something wrong. God only punishes the unrighteous. Is that true? So we have to challenge all of these things that we've been programmed to believe and think. All of them. All right? But long story short, to deal with these negative perspectives, what we have to know is that you will never understand the ways that the Most High does things. You will never understand. It's not your job, right? Yeah, they were going crazy. They were talking their shit. You will never understand the ways of Source, right? It's beyond your comprehension. This is why even in that story, God does not console or comfort Job. Simply gives him a divine reminder, divine remembrance. You were not here when I created the stars. You weren't here when I created the earth. You weren't here when I molded your ass. Just the fact that you are here is a miracle. You sit in the middle of a miracle and you still look for signs? Your life is a miracle, and you still need signs to know that you're not alone. How many close calls have you had throughout your life? How many situations should have went wrong that you didn't even know you were source at that time, but they went right? And you still need signs, right? And you still need signs, right? So it's not about comprehending fully, right? It's not about getting to a point where one day you just understand it 100%. It's just about getting to a point where something clicks within you that, all right, I've been outsourcing my power to everything besides me. Now let me focus my consciousness on me. Let me understand that I am the light that is casting a reflection on the mirror. Go through life a little bit differently now, right? Going through life a little bit differently now and allowing everything to unfold divinely from within me. Yeah, I can go into both of those. I'll talk about Job, then I'll talk about inspired action. So I'll give you a quick rundown. So Job had 3 friends, all right? Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They represent 3 distinct aspects of his consciousness, okay? So Bildad represents the religious, moralizing part of your consciousness that insists if you were righteous, you wouldn't suffer. How could you be clean if you were born by a woman? This is what Bildad said, right? He is the voice of performative righteousness, okay? And yeah, it's all recorded, it's all on YouTube. Never take them down. He is the voice of performative righteousness, obsessed with image, law, and behavior, and not inner being. How come she doesn't get the good things or he doesn't get the good things? They're always doing the right thing. They're always in church, obsessed with image, with law, forgetting that law is a human construct. Law is a human construct. Morality, a human construct. These are things created by people. If I follow this man's rule, then God will bless me. It doesn't even make sense. They are human constructs, all right? So this is the part of you that believes you must earn your manifestations. I have to know that I am source, and then if I do a little bit of work for a while, I'll feel it one day. And then it'll click and I'll get everything. It doesn't matter if you feel it or not. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're source or you're not. You still are. It doesn't matter if you want to be or you don't want to be. You still are. You are that you are. I am that I am no matter what. Okay? Forgetting that grace operates beyond even karma. Grace, the law of being, operates beyond karma. Zophar is the second. Zophar represents the harsh critic, internalized shame. So Zophar is the voice that whispers you're unlovable. Okay, so Bildad is the one, performative righteousness. You're not following the church. You're not following this man-made law. You can't get what you want. Only good things get good, or good people get good things. Okay, Zophar is the one, the harsh critic, internalized shame. Damn it, you're unlovable. It's your fault. You should have done more. Self-criticism, harsh judgment, and the inner critic that says you deserve even worse than you're getting. Okay? And then Bildad, oh shit, I skipped one. Eliphaz is the intellectual mind. It's the one that says you must have sin. You must be doing wrong if you're getting this. This is the mind that tries to reason away pain, applying formulaic logic to a spiritual process. Think about that. Peep that, right? Trying to apply a formula or logic to a spiritual process. Oh, I've been affirming like this. I have to reprogram the subconscious. I have to do this, trying to put our human formula, right, into a spiritual process that is beyond your comprehension. My ways are not of your ways. You have one job. Whatever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you. The Father's name being I am. Whatever you say, because if somebody says, what's your name? You can say, I am this. You just used the divine's name. You just use God's name. Huh? If you say, I am prosperous, I am this, I am that, it's all the name of God. Now, because the kingdom is within you, everything out there is the kingdom, right? It's nothing out there. It's all being projected from within you. So it's not her or him or that thing or that situation. It's all I am. So whatever I declare anybody or anything to be, that's what it is. You're given clear instructions on how to be, on what to do, on how to pray. Every time that you use the Lord's name, you are praying. Every time you declare yourself to be something consciously or unconsciously. If I say these women ain't shit, what I'm saying is I only attract these type of women. That's what you're saying. You're making a declaration. Okay? You're making a declaration at all of these times. These are all prayers. It's not just when you get on your knees and fold your hands, right? Every word is a prayer coming from the temple, the house of the divine, which you are. You are the house of the divine. And then it says what? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be unto you. Meaning whatever you say it is what it is. Oh, it's not working out. Guess what? It's not. Oh, it's working out perfectly. Even though the situation doesn't look right, it's working out perfectly. I understand that sometimes the mirror looks backwards. If I have to get from here to there, things have to change. And sometimes it might not look exactly the way that I can predict it because I can't predict shit. Because I'm only 0.001% of reality. All right? You are the one that is declaring things, that is decreeing things, that is creating things. Exactly. Using the Lord's name in vain. Cussing that person. Calling yourself or that person or that situation anything less than perfection. Then absolute prosperity, absolute abundance is, guess what? Using the Lord's name in vain. All right? So the voice of Eliphaz represents bad things equal bad person. They try to make logic to a spiritual process. You can't bring logic in this shit. Be like children to enter the kingdom. If a child puts on that Batman suit, they're Batman. If you try to tell him that he's not Batman, they're going to look at you like you're insane. They're going to look at you like you are crazy, right? What you mean I'm not Batman? Can't you see I'm wearing the suit? What you mean I'm not Superman or Wonder Woman? Can't you see I'm wearing the suit? What's wrong with you? Be as in children. Like, don't bring your ego into the situation, into your prayers, into your thoughts. All right? What does Job's wife represent? The temptation to abandon the vision. Now, I want you to think about this. If you read it from a logical perspective, the shit wouldn't even make sense. Job's wife says, do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. If your wife or your husband told you that shit, you would probably look at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you talking about? Who are you? Right? Why did I pick you? This doesn't even make sense. Why would their wife say that? But what she represents is the voice of disillusionment. Okay, the temptation to give up on your manifestation and to curse the very source within and return to survival mode. So in metaphysics, this is the collapse of inner faith. Okay, the collapse of inner faith. She asks, what's the point? All right, it's when we are looking out at that situation and saying, bro, what is the point? It's all falling apart. What is the point? Forgetting that you're married to this. You're married to 3D reality. You can't leave it. You cannot leave it. But you have to do what Job did and transcend it. So Job responds to her and says, shall we accept the good from God and not trouble? Revealing his understanding that the manifestation process includes what we see as darkness. But what is that darkness? It's purification. It's giving you clarity on what you really want. It's allowing you to choose. It's not punishment. It is simply purification. Simply purification. Okay? Let me see here. We're always trying to say some bullshit. All right, can you touch on, inspired action. My bad, man. I got you. It is inspired action. It is divine timing because you are divine. Right? You are the one. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Now, I do want to take it a step further when we talk about applied action. I want you to think about it like, or inspired action. I want you to think about it like this. Okay? Let's say that you are looking for your prosperity, right? Is it me or just being impatient? Let's say that you're looking for your prosperity. There's going to be two routes that you can take. You're going to take the route of fulfillment knowing that it's already yours, or you can take the route of trying to force reality to conform to you. Trying to force reality to conform to you. All right? So what does that mean, right? Force reality to conform to you. This is the same way that Satan approached Jesus in the wilderness while he was fasting, right? And said, throw yourself off of the cliff and the angels will catch you. This is the opposite path of divine or inspired action. Believing that I've been praying for prosperity, so if I force this to happen, if I bet on this, gamble on this, right? If I put all of my money on this, then surely it has to work because God will catch me. This is testing source. Inspired action is knowing that I already have it no matter what. Once you get to the point where you know that you already have that thing, you already are the person that has that thing, you already are that person that has that thing, then it doesn't matter what you do in that moment. You do the next best thing based on what you feel is right. Based on what you think is right, knowing that you already are that person. But when you don't truly believe you already are that person, you believe, oh, I've been praying for this, and now let me make sure that God comes through, or maybe God will come through this way, and then you try to force things. Two different perspectives. It's the difference between force and flow. The difference between force and flow. When you are flowing through reality, right, then you just allow things to happen. You do what feels best, the thing that you should do, right? You make that righteous choice, that righteous decision to stay on that righteous path. When you are not in flow, when you are in force, right, it's not going to be inspired action because you're forcing, right? You're just trying to do what you think God is going to bless you through. So it's a fine line, right? It's about your mentality. It's really about your embodiment, your faith, that makes the difference between inspired action and force. Okay, so hopefully that helps. You the best, man. You the best. You are the best. You are the best. I think I went through all three personalities. Yeah, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. Yeah, I went through all three. And then Job's wife. Job's wife being your marriage to circumstances, right? Absolutely. And all this is on YouTube, so you can always get the document off YouTube. You can download it, do whatever you want with it. All right, what other questions y'all got? Did I miss something? No, I don't have specific times. Just whenever I get free. Typically Saturdays and Sundays I'm a little bit more free, so I just kind of jump on whenever I finish what I'm doing in the morning. But during the week, so I trade. So whenever I get out of the market, I tend to go live, which is sometimes like 10, 11, maybe 9 if it's a good day. A day that I don't trade, I only trade maybe once, twice a week. Then sometime in the morning or the evening. How about that? Sometime in the morning or the evening, I'm gonna go live. I do talk about trading psychology. So I will coach trading psychology, but I prefer to work with people that already do trade. Like already have a strategy. I trade on Schwab, Thinkorswim, and no, I don't swing. I prefer to stay in the market very short periods of time. I'm typically done by about 10 a.m. Central. So I prefer to catch really the first move. I trade one strategy once or twice a week. I trade ICT concepts, market maker models, market maker buy or sell models. I look for consolidation overnight in a London session, a sweep before or right after the opening bell. And then I look for displacement or a change of character to the other side. Boom, that's my model. There's other things, that have to line up as well. Time, the amount, right? Like the risk to reward has to be a certain amount. I like certain news drivers. Yeah. I also like to look at the character of like the day before, how it was, right? So, and I like quick moves. You are great at trading. Trading is all the mindset, man. The market, look at the market like an entity. It rewards you for being disciplined and doing what you need to do, and then it punishes you for not. It rewards who you're being, just like life. Life rewards how you're being, just like the market rewards who you're being. If you go into the market like a gambler, you might win a couple times, but that money doesn't belong to you. The market gonna come take it back. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you more. Appreciate you more. It's Natalie. I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, man. I'm going to keep you in my prayers. Matter of fact, you can just DM me and we can talk about it. DM me on something, Instagram or TikTok, and we can talk about it. We probably do trade the sign. Probably do trade the sign, man. It's, even the strategy, right? When you're trading, it's not about the strategy. It's about the person pulling the trigger. Just same way, it's not about the strategy that you're doing in reality creation, right? It's about the person doing it. It's about who you're being. So you prefer phone calls, but all they do is text. Do you just continue texting and go along with it? You know what I want to say. I want you to, matter of fact, I want you to answer your question. Should you settle for how things are? Did you come down here to settle for how things are? What should you do? You're in this script. In the moment that you're in right now, you are in that script. However, you can change that script. You can change that script based on who you are being, what you assume to be true. Right? Make the choice. Make the choice that no. They call. Make the choice that they call. And once you and just know that if they don't, you're still in the unfolding. You already have it. You already live in this reality, but it's still unfolding from within you. Exactly. See it in the way that you want it to be, nothing less. We don't see reality as reality, quote unquote, is, because reality is meaningless. Reality is just giving you opportunities to choose what you want. That's it. It is only giving you an opportunity to choose what you want. It's not, it doesn't mean anything else. Absolute discipline. Absolute discipline. You don't ever have to lift a finger. That's why this manifestation stuff, it feels so effortless. Things show up in ways that feel natural and normal. Absolutely. Absolutely, Natalie. Always. All right, y'all. Your boy It's a little tired. Let me see if y'all got anything else before we end it. Let's see here. What are all my plans for the rest of that? Let me make up something exciting. Probably nothing. I just got a new bike, so I'm gonna go ride that. Well, I didn't just get it. I got it a little ways ago. My old bike got stolen. I had an FZ10 and Yamaha, so I got a new one recently. So probably go ride that. Go visit my parents. It's about like a 40-minute ride. So go ride my bike. Bike meaning motorcycle, not us. I'm not gonna take a normal bike 40 minutes to talk to my parents. But that's about it. What's y'all's plans for the day? Should we enjoy the reunion, man. Enjoy the reunion. Life has really tested you the last couple of days. How have you been reacting? How have you been being through it all? Are you proud of how you have been handling it? What's the story that you have been telling? That it's still unfolding? If it's a curveball, it means you're not at the end yet. It's just unfolding perfectly for you. Have you been staying in that knowing? All right. Well, as long as it's not about what you've been doing, remember that, right? It's not about how you've been doing. It's about what you're gonna be right now. Declare right now. The moment that you catch yourself, declare right now that, no. Even that off moment was the perfect unfolding to what I want. Still play along with religion. I have a very good relationship with my homeboys now, so we talk about all this. Like I got one of my closest homeboy. He's a Hebrew Israelite, right? So, we see things the way we see things. We see things the way we see things. I have friends that are Christians. I have lots of friends, right? So, and it's not even that our perspectives are always not in alignment. I believe we all are saying the same thing from different perspectives. It's just that perspectives can be polarizing, but perspective is just one dimension of reality. The story is still unfolding, absolutely. It's still unfolding. Be proud of yourself and understand that you could never be wrong. Who you are right now changes the past and the future. An opportunity to take it slow, finally, thing. I pray you have a beautiful time in Philly, man. Never been to Philly. Never been to Philly. And no, I'm not from Chicago. Must be where you from. I got family out there. But no, I'm not from Chicago. I stay in Dallas now. But I actually lived in Flint, Michigan for a while. I lived in Flint, Michigan for half my life, actually. It is. That is a Texas sky. It's the most beautiful sky. What you know about that, man? Chicago does have the second best skyline in the U.S. The second best skyline in the U.S. is Chicago. The number one, the best skyline, Dallas. Dallas has the best skyline in the United States. Your second heartbreak? Or was that just your second divine awakening that happened through a spouse? Or through a partner, let's put it like that. Perception is absolutely key. All right, y'all, man. I'm about to end this one. Of course, like always, this video will be on YouTube. I never take them down. So you can always go back. You can review whatever that you want on YouTube. You can do whatever you want on YouTube. If you want any kind of help, there's a link in the bio. You can always jump on Calendly and get some help. And then YouTube username, Instagram username, TikTok username is all the same, Alexander Dwayne. There is a link tree in the bio of all the sites, all the social media sites. So you can click that and it'll take you to all my different pages. All right, so appreciate y'all for your time. And this was some affirmations for you. All right? Let me see, who are you? All right, and this was some affirmations for y'all. All right, you are divine, you are perfect, you are all that there is. All right, everything is unfolding through you. You are absolutely in alignment with everything that you want, with everything that you want to receive. All right, absolutely in alignment with everything that you want to receive. The only person that can keep you from getting those things is you. Whether you feel good, you are in alignment. Whether you don't feel good, you're still in alignment. When you are perfect, you are in alignment. When you don't feel perfect, you are also in alignment, right? Damn, y'all niggas be on here trolling and shit, bro. What's up? What's wrong with y'all? All right? But y'all have a beautiful and blessed, man, I ended that off awful. All right, let's start this again, all right? You are perfect, you are divine, you are all that there is. Everything flows through you. You are source, whether you feel like it or not. Okay, you are absolute perfection, whether you feel like it or not. All right, remember that everything that you desire, you already have. Before you ask, I will answer. Before you ask, source answers. When you ask a question, this is the same as source placing that in your mind, placing that in your heart. All right? Take these as divine promises. Take them as divine promises. Know that you already have it. And from that moment of already having it, it is all unfolding from within you. So every moment you are getting closer to that thing. If you do not see it, you are still in the middle. So continue to have faith, continue to keep walking, and know that everything that you desire, you already have. All right, y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. If you do not feel prosperous, if you don't feel like a god, a goddess, it's cool because I see you as that way anyway. So I know it must be true. All right, y'all have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Peace.